get off.
Greetings viewers, Helluva here, bringing you another review. This time I'll be talking about the 4th episode of Helluva Boss from YouTube animator Vivziepop, who you might all know for Hazbin Hotel. While I don't consider myself a super fan of Viv, I have been aware of her as far back as 2014 due to her Die Young music video. Honestly, outside of commentaries, this isn't the first time I've intended to talk about her content, since I was going to do a review on her Zoophobia short. However, not only did the script I passed around not get any feedback, I found it difficult to get invested even after the webcomic of the same name. Also, wasn't a fan of...
Oh, how would it be to spend your life just buzzing around? And how would it be zooming along, nothing to worry about?
Yeah. So, just in case you've been living under a rock for the past year, Helluva Boss centers around him, an assassination company in the Pride Circle Vale, run by a nicknamed Blitzo, and his employees, the couple Minnie and Moxie, and Blitzo's adopted hellhound daughter Luna. This episode introduces us to Heaven and Cherub, a group of minor angels, which I heard months back were meant to be the rival group of Imp. While Imp stands for Immediate Murder Professionals, it's unknown if Cherub's acronym stands for anything. I mean, maybe it kind of represents the species using it, the same with Imp, but I don't know. Imp's main job is that they will travel to the living world and kill off anyone who's had a negative experience with their clients. And in direct opposition, Cherub's job is to prevent humans from dying, regardless of morality, and soon to be that's what angels do. Much later in the episode, the Cherubs reveal that they know the target Imp is after is a terrible old man, but they're going to force salvation onto him. Two of the Cherubs, Keeney and Colin, are lambs, which in Christianity symbolize purity and innocence. Although I'm pretty sure that Keeney will be losed by a furry artist soon enough. The internet ruins everything. The third member, Cletus, is a more stereotypical depiction of a cherub being a pudgy winged child. However, the biblical depiction of cherubs is actually quite horrifying. Winged creatures with the face of an ox, lion, eagle, and man on each side of the head that guard the borders of the Garden of Eden, making sure that intruders couldn't get in. Yeah, angels could be pretty terrifying. And it could be argued that they only assume human form is not to frighten us mere mortals. The two factions come into conflict when Imp is charged with killing off an aged millionaire, Lyle Lipton.
I hate ugly.
But just as it seems that Lyle's about to take his own life, Sheriff comes down and tries to convince him that his life is worth living due to all the good he's done in his work with advanced robotics. The Cherubs try to show Lyle the beauty of life, only to be immediately thwarted by Imp at every turn.
Want to see whose lap you're sitting on?
Yeah, that'd probably be my reaction too. After getting fed up with Imp's interference, the Cherubs start fighting with them, and of course, this results in the deaths of several bystanders. Lyle strangely finds the two factions fighting over him to be touching, coming to the conclusion that his life must be worth living, and chooses not to die, only to then be killed off in the most cartoony way possible. Because they are the ones responsible for Lyle's death, albeit indirectly, Cherub are kicked out of heaven. And this calls to mind another thing lambs are a symbol for: suffering. Also, the character that kicks them out of heaven is voiced by Vivzie, and it could just be me, but I feel I can hear a faint Wisconsin accent.
Yeah, sorry.
sorry. Yeah, no.
To add insult to injury, even if Lyle had died of old age, which the chairs were probably banking on, he ends up in hell due to having been an evil scientist who experimented on the poor. Imp's client reveals that he simply wanted to be reunited with Lyle, since not only were they partners, they were also best friends when alive. This was more or less what I expected when I heard that Imp was going to have a rival group, but I really didn't expect it to be this insane. Seriously, the kills in this episode had to have been the most brutal yet. The comedy was alright in my opinion. Everything good and wholesome. He's countered by something outrageously unpleasant at every turn. The first scene resulting in some of the best horrified faces I've seen so far this year. I also enjoyed Lyle, mainly because his dialogue is difficult to not at least smirk at.
He could help spread his wealth around with the people of the world and do so much good with it and be so fulfilled.
No, he could pay for new hospitals and schools. Why won't you let me die?
The chairs themselves, while they do get an equal amount of screen time with him, are sort of flat characters, or at least that's my interpretation of them. However, I do like that towards the end of the episode, we see that they can be just as foul-mouthed as demons. Plus, Keeney's kind of a bitch towards the Imps, and maybe Colin, due to how she acts while he's having his freak out after they've killed Lyle. I can't be the only one curious. What's going to happen to them now that they've been kicked out of heaven for indirectly killing a human? Since angels that are cast out of heaven are classified as fallen angels, and a few monster wikis I visited over the years tend to classify fallen angels as demons. Whether or not the angels that sided with Lucifer became the first demons, I don't know. That'd be up to someone who's thoroughly analyzed the Bible to tell me. If I had any negatives to say about this episode, one of them would be the client, Loopty-Goopty. Now, this is just me, but he feels a little like a discount Alistair due to his mannerisms, and his design feels just a little too cartoony when compared to the other characters. There's also the character Wally Wackford. While part of me is kind of glad that this minor character who appeared during Lululand now has a name and will probably be a recurring minor character, him showing up at the end of this episode just feels random. Please tell me I'm not the only one who feels that way. Something I almost overlooked, Imp actually uses disguises in this episode, which is a nice bit of continuity from Spring Broken. Although they sort of dress up, which would lead one to think that maybe Imps can't assume human form. And granted, you can still tell that they aren't human, but hey, at least they tried. This is Nighthead Ike saying, thanks for letting me share my thoughts, share yours with me.